WHCS Channel 29 presents Group AAA Baseball. The Phoebus Phantoms versus the Bethel Bruins. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble, and we are here at Bethel High School's field for the game between the Phantoms of Phoebus and the Bruins of Bethel High School. Bob, there you see the umpires for today's game. What have you got to mention about the game before we get started?
Well, I got a chance to talk with both the coaches today and yesterday, and of course Phoebus hasn't got a real good record this year. They have lost some games which have been really have hurt them. They have been leading 4 games, Tim, in the final inning, 2 out, leading, and lost 4 games that way, and that just really hurts you. They're 2-9 currently right now. The Bethel Bruins are leading the league with a 7-3 and an 8-4 overall. And we get a chance there. AG is doing the announcing for the PA system today, and we got jets going overhead since we're very close to Langley Field. We're here at Bethel High School. This is called Bethel Park, and this was opened in 1975 by the Northampton Senior League. The founders were Jackie Peterson, B.T. Harris, Buck Barrett. They built the dugouts, the fence, they landscaped the infield, they did everything. And currently they're using the field during the summer and the spring, and of course the revenues help keep the field in the condition it is, and we want a special recognition go out to Jerry Landon for the help he's done with the facility here.
There you see, at least to the left of your screen, the starting catcher for the Bethel Bruins this afternoon, and that is number 32, Billy Allen. The pitcher for the Bruins, warming up as we speak, is Dwayne Ray, number 13.
Well, let me tell you a little something about Dwayne Ray. He's only pitched 9 innings, but has yet to allow a run in 9 innings. In fact, he pitched against Phoebus the first time they played him, and Phoebus was beaten pretty handily, 17-0, as a matter of fact. So Mike Talon is really got his coaching cut out for him. You've got to have some good ball players, and he's got some decent ball players, but they seem just not have the intensity enough to win, and that's really been hurting them this year.
As you mentioned, Phoebus 2-9, having a tough time of it. Mike Talon, one of the coaches we're familiar with from the basketball season, of course.
And football season, as a matter of fact, he was one of the assistant coaches on the Phoebus football team.
Does it all. And we are just about set to go. The skies are overcast this afternoon. There is a hint of a mist in the air, although I don't think we're going to see any rain. But
well, we got something over our head, Tim, but with the wind blowing, it's not going to do us a bit of good.
All right, AG has completed the introductions of the lineups, and I think our umpiring crew, the names of which I'm sorry we don't have at this moment, but nonetheless they are just about set to get this game underway. This is the second of 2 high school baseball games that we are going to be able to bring you this spring, and we also have a girls softball game lined up for the 13th of May.
Right. And I believe that involves the Bethel girls and the Kickotan girls. If I'm not mistaken, I have to look at my schedule, Tim, but you're right, it's on the 13th. And of course, we want to remind everybody about Mother's Day on the 8th, where we'll be over at the Hampton Coliseum with the Boo Williams team hosting the Canadian girls and the Russian Junior All-Star team. So that'll be quite a spectacle over there. In fact, they had the supper last night for them. So
you're not going to eat again until this Sunday?
I don't know.
Poor guys.
I don't know.
A little huddle at the mound to get the final signals across to all the different players on the Bethel Bruins. Of course, they are the home team. We're here at Bethel Bruin Park. Or actually, Bruin Park is what it was.
Right, they call it Bruin Park. Tim, the Bethel team is a fast team. They have stolen 75 bases this year already, so they get on base and they will run. So they will test the catcher. But right now, we'll see Phoebus bat.
Stepping to the plate, Matt Levister, who is also on the Phoebus basketball team, if memory serves me correctly. First pitch to Levister is low, ball 1. We don't have the privilege of, or at least the convenience of having a scoreboard keeping us abreast of balls and strikes here, Bob, so we're going to have to
keep a close eye on the umpire. You're right.
Left-hander delivers inside, ball 2. So it's 2-0 to Levister. Coming into the game, batting .265. Fouls it off, and it's 2-1 now. Levister leads the team, according to the statistics I've been given, with 8 stolen bases. He actually is tied with Tim Williams with that number. As you mentioned, Bob, the Phantoms, when they get on the bases, they are dangerous. This one's high, ball 3, 3-1. Well, aren't you going to ask me how my son did last week when I was telling you about his pitching?
I see your chest out, Tim. I know you had to have a good day. You get to see some of the ball game, did you?
Nope.
No, it was over.
No, I got to see him Friday night, though.
Very good.
He did,
how did he do?
He did extremely well. I'll give you a whole repertoire on that a little later. Levister gets on base on the walk.
Are you trying to tell me, Tim, that if we need fill time, you've got something you can talk about, right?
I've got stuff. Us bragging fathers can fill a lot of airtime.
I tell you, last week it was because you was a granddaddy. This week you got a son that's pitching. I don't know.
My life is so full. John Painter, the pitcher, fouls it right back. Almost got me in the face if it weren't for that wonderful screen in our way.
Well, then John Painter's got a brother, Brian. They're both on this Phoebus team. So I want to date myself again. I coached their father over at Buckrow Junior High School.
Talk about me and being a grandfather. John Painter hitting a hefty 343 coming in. Pickoff move to first. Levister is back with little difficulty.
I noticed that Revis Conrad,
as I mentioned, Painter 343 coming in. He's a senior. Painter swings and misses. So we're 0-2 now. As Painter looks down to third base, Mike Talon flashes him the signals.
There's a good shot of John. She looks like her mama.
Outside, 1-2.
Both of these teams are fast. Phoebus will run, but I don't think he has overall team speed as what the Bruins have. The Bruins have really burned up the base paths this year, stealing bases.
Again, they throw over to first. Levister back with ease.
That's kind of a move that he's doing right now. Just a nice, steady. He's not trying to pick him off, just trying to keep him honest. He's not showing him his best move, Tim. There's a good shot right there from our camera.
And that is strike 3 called.
But that just got the outside corner. This official, or this referee, that's umpire, I guess we call him, behind the plate, was on the bases when we did the Hampton Kickotan ball game, and I can't remember his name right offhand. I'll try to get it when we have a break in between the action.
Number 20, Tim Williams steps up to the plate, second baseman. 1 out, 1 on. Swing and a miss. Painter batting a cool .514 coming into the ball game.
Well, not Painter. Williams.
Oh, excuse me, Williams, not Painter.
Yeah, he is lead. In fact, Tim, he is leading the league in
hitting, I would assume.
Yes.
He hits this off the end of the bat, foul down the first baseline. Yeah, Williams coming into this game, as you mentioned, .514 is his batting average. That has come on 35 at-bats, 18 hits, and 5 runs batted in. So Williams now with a man on. Levister still on first. This one is popped up. And the catcher is watching for it, but it's going to be out of play on the top of the dugout.
And the camera lady, she was ducking. Last week she was talking about one in the field. Tonight she could have caught that one. Get your glove on, Angela. Hey, we got a little break of sun coming through here, Tim. All right.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Tim Williams. This one's high. I checked that. It's now 1-2, as it was 0-2 before. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And you're right, that sun has peaked out. Maybe we'll get some nice sunny weather before the afternoon is done. Of course, it drives our director crazy as he has to continually adjust. Williams gets a hold of this one. It's hit deep to left center field, but it is catchable, and the catch is made. So Williams hits into a long out, and that's 2 down.
Tim, he's hit right into the wind. The wind is blowing straight into the batter's face. If the wind would have been reversed that time behind him, that could have very well been over the fence. As we got to see a nice hit last week, a grand slam, which you don't get to see very often. We got to see one in the Hampton Kickingham game.
We sure did. Aaron Johnson cleaned the bases. This one is popped up by the batter, Chris Black, and this is also going to be out of play. Getting closer to my car, though. During inning break here.
Yeah, my car's way up there. If they hit my car, boy, they deserve to hit it.
They deserve to hit it. Chris Black hitting a cool 483. So we got some hefty batters out here for Phoebus. This one's hit up the middle to the second baseman. He gobbles it up and makes the play to the shortstop covering. And the Phantoms are down in the first inning. So we saw Williams get a little hold of one, but it couldn't make it out of here because of the wind. I'm pretty sure with a little bit of wind or no wind, he might have had some round tripper on that one.
I believe he would have, Tim. He got some good wood on that ball. I call wood. Basically using aluminum bats, and it sounds a little weird, but that was a nice inning that they had. Bethel did a good job. This young man by the name of Ray, who was pitching, I was talking to Roger before about him, and he said he's a nice young pitcher. He's only pitched 9 innings. Now it's the 10th inning he's pitched this year, and he has yet to allow a run. So when you have an earned run of 0-0-0, that's pretty good.
He was definitely going to get to first.
We got a moment here before we get started to talk a little bit about the Bethel Baseball Boosters Club that was founded by Gene Jordan. It was founded in 1988 by Gene Jordan, who was the president. The first vice president is Eddie Allen. The second vice president is Roy Harris. And they sponsor family picnics and father and son softball games for the varsity JV. And they also sponsor a Player of the Game award for the home games. We want to take our hats off to these people because they put a lot of time into raising money and all for the high school athletics, Tim.
Fouled it into the dirt and it came up and hit his back.
Yeah. Never did.
The battery for the Phantoms has John Painter, the pitcher, and the catcher is number 6, Scott Von Schilling. And Phoebus now about set to go. We have no score. And the first batter for the Bethel Bruins this afternoon will be Ricky Drum. He is a senior. He's the second baseman. And he's batting a cool .324. Got a lot of cool batters out here. I love anything over 300 is wonderful, I tell you. And this one's way outside. Ball 1.
Usually when you get a guy picked off like they did on first base and
coming into the game,
they didn't get him out, and then here again.
Drum has stolen 9 bases, so he shows good speed. Played in 12 ball games. He's had 37 at-bats with 12 hits. Swing and a miss. 1-1's the count.
He'll reach second on the.
As you mentioned, Phoebus has really been snake bitten. I'll get to that after this pitch. And this is strike 2. Ball 1, strike 2 to Drum. As you mentioned, I just want to repeat that the Phoebus Phantoms have lost 4 games in the last inning. They had the lead in those 4 games, and they had 2 outs. Boy, you talk about Mike Talon must really wonder what he's got to do.
And you almost get the feeling sometimes the kids are afraid to win.
You know that's not the case. This one fouled down the third baseline.
Charles walked in the first inning. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him run another bunt here. He's, oh, wow, what a shot.
That is no bunt. That's a good-looking base. You got to be real careful about criticizing the umpire today, Bob. He's right there in front of you.
I'm not going to say a word about it. I got a comment on that.
Did you?
Some action in here.
All right, this one's hit high down the third baseline. It's drifting foul, and it is caught on a real nice play by Eric Waterton to shortstop, coming over to make that grab.
Last week, you know that we were commenting a little bit on the umpires, that they did an excellent job, but there was a couple of calls that you said that you would have questioned. And I talked to Greg Blake, who was behind the plate, and he says, you know, sometimes the pitcher outpitches the umpire. And he says that was the case. He said, I'd never seen that pitch before.
Huh.
And he said the next time he threw it, he said, I caught it, it was a strike.
Oh,
and that was a very good count. I've never heard an official of any sport mention that he got outguessed or out.
Strike call.
Well,
that's interesting.
So it's a possibility. You know, you usually you know what kind of a pitcher throws, what's his best pitches, and you get used to him. But when they throw one that you've never seen, it's he catch you looking.
Strike 2 to Cecil Powell, the left fielder, number 23, a junior. Powell comes into the game hitting 286. And this one is low. That was a waste pitch, as Painter said, all right, I got 2 strikes on you. Let me see if I can get you to chase a bad one. Mr. Powell, as I mentioned, comes in at 286. He's played in 12 games. He's got 10 hits and 35 at-bats. Scored 14 runs. He is the leading ball player on the team in that department. And he has 13 stolen bases.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's got 13. They've got one guy on there that really burns up the base paths.
Pitch outside, and a bad throw back to the pitcher. I believe the Painter was asking for, well, I'm not sure what I think he wants a different ball. Doesn't like the feel of that one.
Well, I don't blame you. You got one you feel good with, you stay with it.
Put it in his pocket, and then bring it back out and give it to him a little later on, and won't even know the difference. Always wondered about that.
There's a good shot of the pitcher Painter.
He puts it in the left field for a single. Well, I think single. He's going to stretch it out for a double. So his speed, Bethel shows some speed here, and now trying for third, and he'll make it.
Well, now we give him a double and then a pass, an error on the throw.
Double on an error on a throw, I would think so.
You get all this down?
Oh, yeah, I've got it all down. Cecil Powell. That was a real nice play. He just kind of hit it between the third baseman and the left fielder. It wasn't short enough for the third baseman to catch it by any means. It was definitely a hit all the way.
Yeah.
But his heads-up running made that play work.
Well, and I think that's the attitude of the Bruins. If you notice that I keep talking about the 75 stolen bases, but their attitude is they are fast, and they get on. When they make a hit, they're looking for that extra base, and that's exactly what he did. He was watching that ball as he was going to first base, and as he rounded before the guy ever got his hand on the ball, he knew he had a better than even chance of beating the throw, and then it was going to have to be a perfect throw to catch him at second base. That was a very heads-up run in there.
So Mike Talon now, as you saw, had a quick gathering of minds on the pitcher's mound. I'm sure he wanted to remind his players of just that very fact, that the Bruins have excellent speed and that they're going to force you to be that much more alert. Stepping to the plate now, number 27, Al Gills, a junior shortstop, and he is the gentleman you referred to earlier who leads this team with 20 stolen bases. Al Gills hitting .311.
If you look through the whole Bethel lineup, their team average, Tim, is .319, which is leading the district.
Painter falls behind now, 0-2. 2-0, I should say. Gills, just a junior, played in 12 games, has been to the plate 45 times, and has 14 hits. Outside, ball 3. Gills has 3 doubles to, again, make reference to that speed. So many times your quickest players will have those doubles and triples because they have that ability to get around that base path. This one is a strike, so the automatic makes it 3-1.
Well, Gill was taken all the way on that. There was no intention for him to swing at all. With a 0-3 and a man on third, you don't want to do anything silly.
Cecil Powell is that man on third. Ball gets away from the catcher, but Cecil Powell was not in a position to try and come in. And Painter very wisely came in to cover home plate. It's another reminder for you youngsters out there, you've got to be thinking all the time. There are 100 different things you're supposed to do at various times during the ball game.
That's right.
Oh, it is. I coached my son in that Little League 1 year. That's all I'll ever want to do. I have the utmost respect for both umpires and coaches. Coming to the plate, number 18, Chris Winder, the center fielder. Going down to second on the steal is Al Gills. No real attempt on the part of Phoebus to try and get him.
Excuse me, Tim. There's no way he was going to throw that down to second, and not with the young man Ricky Drum on third base.
Chris Winder having a good season as he bounces this one to the shortstop. A run will score. The play is in time at first, and advancing to third on the play is Al Gills. I started to say Winder has had a good season so far, batting .375, and he is going to get credit for an RBI, even though, of course, he will be called out on the play.
Well, here's a young man coming up to bat now, Tim, we had talked about during football season when he was punting and catching the ball and running the ball, and basketball when he was putting it through the hoop, and now he's batting .444. But that's another hefty batting average.
You know, it continues to show up all the time. There you see a good shot of Todd Kelly, number 37. He is the first baseman, and he looks at ball one high. I started to say, so many times you see this happen. The good athletes are good in every sport. They excel in various sports. They don't just limit themselves to one. One run across here in the bottom of the first, and Todd Kelly hits this sharply and through the hands of the second baseman for an error, and Kelly will be on first with the second run scoring. That was Cecil Powell. Check that, Al Gills, who just scored, and now it's 2-0 here in the bottom of the first. So Bethel has come out with their bats blazing. And stepping to the plate now will be number 32, Billy Allen, the catcher.
Well, I talked to Coach Bouchard yesterday, and he told me, he says, what we have to do with Phoebus is jump out and get a big lead, because he said they will hang tough, and they want to get back, you know, into the late innings with a 1 or 2 run deficit at the most, and then they've got a chance of winning it. And he says they're a real good team by keeping it close. He says, so we have to jump out and get a big lead quick. And he says, and that's the only way we're going to bury them.
Painter playing close attention to Todd Kelly over on first.
And we got 3 runs for each club.
Kelly, a definite threat on the base paths as well, has 11 stolen bases. Well, you know, having the statistics is wonderful. It really makes the game that much more interesting to make the fans aware.
Well, that's why I made a special effort to talk to both coaches for you, Tim. So, because it does, I know it makes your job easier, and you don't have to look at me like what you've been doing. You're supposed to be giving me these statistics.
No, we have an equal status on this thing.
I understand. You're doing an excellent job here, so we got to make sure you've got all the tools.
We got them now. We've got all the stuff we need on these fellas.
I even got some stuff here on Bouchard that we can slip in.
Painter is definitely keeping a close eye on Todd Kelly. As I mentioned, Kelly with 11 steals on the season. Billy Allen steps back up to the plate. Kelly's going, they pitch it out. A throw down to second base is late, and Todd Kelly is in safe.
Now, let me tell you something about that. They have guessed exceedingly well on pitch outs on a man running. Coach Talon said the first 24 people that ran against him this year, they guessed right and pitched out 23 times, but only got half of them. He says, we know they're going, we just can't get the throw there.
So Kelly is on second. And again, a scoring threat. This one is outside to the batter, Billy Allen, the senior catcher. Billy batting .323. 12 games played, 11 hits in 34 at-bats. And this one just barely caught the outside corner. Billy Allen didn't think so. I didn't either. To be quite honest with you.
It was yeah. Well, we're directly behind.
That was a strong breaking curveball. Let me put it like that. That thing really broke about a foot. Painter comes back and gets Allen on a strike to end the inning, but not before the Bruins register 2 runs. I hope Scotty's able to keep the stats on these runs and hits and everything. They did such a good job last week. Is Dr. Sam Stills here with us this week?
Sam, I haven't seen him. I don't know if he's running around because he usually stays here behind us. So I haven't seen Sam. Well, we got a break in the action here. Of course, we got our roving reporter. AG's going to be running around, but like I kept telling him, there's no cheerleaders, but he spotted some girls to talk to. Like, I don't know. But I've been picking on him a little bit. He's going to try to get a hold of Skip Bouchard. And while we got a chance, let me tell you a little about Skip. He's the one of the assistant football coaches and the head baseball coach. He has been the varsity baseball coach here at Bethel for 14 years. He was a JV head football coach for 3 years, JV baseball coach for 5, and a swimming coach for 4 years, all at Bethel High School. He went to high school at Arlington, Virginia, Washington Lee, graduated from Frederick College in Portsmouth, and has a degree in physical education. And his name is Roger Skip Bouchard. And he's done a real excellent job. He's had some good teams over at Bethel and have not been able to get them to gel as well as they're doing right now. So he's looking for a good year this year.
Bouchard and Skip 3-0. You got to be happy with the start of this game.
Well, we had a good start, and I'll tell you what happened. Since we have 2 leadoff men, they got the first guy, Ricky, but then Cecil came through a little base hit to left. He turned a single into actually a double and ended up third on a throwing error. See, he started.
Todd Kelly got good metal on the ball.
Well, that hard hit ball also went right through the second baseman. It was tough to handle. That's a good kid down there at second. That ball was hit hard.
Looks like you're off to a good start on stealing bases today also.
Well, that's what we're going to do. They pitched that, and we still steal. So we keep doing that, we're going to be all right.
Good luck to you, Coach.
All right, AG, thank you. Stepping up to the plate now for Phoebus, Mickey Joyner. Joyner is the first baseman. He's a senior, and he's batting .285.
He's a good size lad, too. You get a hold of that ball, this will be gone, Tim, win or no win.
Ball low. See, Dwayne Ray, the pitcher for Bethel now, gets behind on the batter. And he puts it right across the plate. This one's popped up to center. Plenty of time and range, and that'll do Mr. Joyner. So Mickey Joyner flies out to center. And Scott Von Schilling, the catcher, will be the batter. Scott is going to come in here batting .343. Scott has good speed. He's got 5 stolen bases on the year. Swings at a high pitch.
I don't know if you watch the pitcher Dwayne Ray or not, Tim, but when he throws the ball, when he gets done, his hat's cocked to the side.
Yeah, I see it. As a matter of fact, it's interesting.
He'll straighten it up. So if he's pitching right, then that ball, that hat moves over a quarter of a turn each time.
1-1 the count. Strike 2.
That was a nice pitch. That thing dropped right off after it got across the plate.
This game airs Tuesday night at 9 and Thursday night at 9, right here on Channel 29. See if we can't get AG to make that announcement somewhat a little later here to the fans so they'll know.
Absolutely.
Same day tape. And strike 3 is registered on Scott Von Schilling, a swinging strike 3. And coming up to the plate now is Eric Waterton, number 9. Senior playing shortstop, batting .200 coming in. Strike 1. So Dwayne Ray now is getting in a little of a groove. There you see a good shot of Eric Waterton. Pops it up to left. Coming in hard, but with no difficulty at all. The left fielder makes the catch. And the Phantoms are down 1-2-3.
Well, that was a fairly easy inning for Dwayne Ray. He got all 3 of them to pop the ball up, and Easy out, so didn't have to throw a whole lot of pitches at the same time, Tim. But we're going to go ahead and let AJ, she should be all wound up there, AJ. Just
Twice in one game. Can you believe that? Says 2 hits on the game, getting 368. Improved his batting average at this point.
as we look down the standings, Bethel has got a half a game lead on Denby. And I believe they play Denby this coming Saturday, Tim. So that'll be a good game that the fans will want to get out and see. And Hampton is just a game back in with 1 game back there in 3rd place. So we have the 2 of the Hampton schools in the top 3 of the district now. That baseball, only the team that wins the regular season goes on to the regionals. You don't have playoffs like what you have in basketball and all that. You just, whoever wins, that's it. So those 3 teams all 3 have an excellent chance of making it.
You know, when you're talking about Phoebus having lost 4 games in the last inning with the lead and 2 outs, turn that around, and they've got a 6-5 record, and they're right in the hunt.
They're within 2 games of the lead. Yeah, that's what I say. And I know Mike Talon just wonders sometimes, you know, how they can do it, but that happens. Sometimes things just, everything goes wrong.
Designated hitter Kevin Carpenter, and they got him on a good play at first base. Give credit to the first baseman Joyner for digging out that low throw.
He sure did a good job of digging that out, Tim. That was not a good throw, but he hung right in there, kept his eye on it, and got the runner out. The runner, Kevin Carpenter, was really going down the base pass.
Brings up number 33, Kennedy Bland. He's the right fielder. Every stat I look on here has a 3 in front of it. He's batting .323. 31 at-bats, 10 hits, 9 runs scored, 1 double. And hits this to the shortstop, mishandled, bobbled, and that'll be an error as the shortstop, Waterton, just didn't get the handle.
Tim, that was just, it was too easy of a play. He needed to charge that ball a little bit more. He just had too much time to think about it.
And now we'll see, batting for himself, Dwayne Ray. And the reason I say that is, of course, we do have the designated batter. Kevin Carpenter is the DH. He grounded out moments ago. But Ray, coming into the game, bats for himself. And I'm somewhat surprised because he is only carrying a 143 batting average. You would have thought that perhaps they might pinch hit for him.
Well, but you got to see how many times he's been at bat too, Tim, as opposed to the other ones, and that might have a little bit to do with it. But McAdoo is the one that is not hitting, and and I don't know what his batting average is.
Let's see here.
Not even listed on mine.
You're right.
So maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why. Hit again to the shortstop. He's getting a lot of work, and he throws this one way over the head of the first baseman, all the way to the track. So that'll be a ground rule situation, I'm sure.
He will get the double, but the runner that was on first only gets to go to third, even though he was about halfway down there. And Bouchard was trying to say, hey, you were closer than the half.
It did look like he might be, but nonetheless, that's all they're going to give him. So another error charge, been a tough inning for the shortstop, Waterton. I've always thought that was one of the toughest spots. Third base and shortstop were the 2 spots I would not want to play.
That third place is a hot box, and at shortstop, you're going to get everything coming at you.
You just have to have a strong arm and a great glove to play short. He's gobbling them up pretty good, but he had some difficulty on his throw that time. So the Bruins, with another threat now, leading 2-0 in the bottom of the 2nd, have men on 2nd and 3rd. Ball 1 is the pitch. The batter for the Bruins, Ricky Drum, up for the 2nd time. I mentioned he batting .324 coming into the game.
Combination now for Kickingham has Waterton in relief.
Swing and a miss on a breaking ball.
That was an excellent pitch. you got Ricky really reaching for that one. Ricky's got 2 men in scoring position. He wants to make contact with that ball, get some RBIs here. I know that's what he's thinking.
And strike two.
Another excellent pitch. That was a nice breaking ball, Tim. There's a good shot of Painter on the mound.
People running to first base, and that really hurt because they left people on base and gave them a
Again, the wind is blowing almost directly in from center field. To hit one out today, you've really got to get a hold of it. This one is in the dirt. And it's ball one, strike two.
Scott Von Schilling did an excellent job of getting over in front of that ball and blocking it so it does not go behind him and go to the fence. And that's one thing that you really have to do as a catcher. You've got a lot of times you don't catch the ball, you just block it.
Painter now having a little bit of control problem. And that's ball four, so that will load the bases up. And it'll bring Cecil Powell to the plate. Powell, 286 hitter, 35 at-bats, 10 hits, 14 runs scored. As I mentioned in the first inning, he is the leading run scorer on the ball club. Right now, they'd like to see him get some RBIs.
Absolutely. In fact, he scored the first run for the Bruins today.
Fouled away. Bases loaded. I believe we've got, what, one out, right?
One out, yes.
I apologize for that. I'm trying to keep track of everything here, but they don't have a lighted scoreboard or anything.
We don't have a guy keeping the scorebook either like we did last time.
No, we had we got some things this time we didn't have last time. So we got the fresh air today. It's nice out here. It's crisp.
I tell you, we're not going to get sleepy today.
No dozing off. 1-1 the count. Pickoff play to first. Of course, with the bases loaded, I don't know where he might think he's going, but
well,
I guess that was just to keep him close.
Well, if you see where the pitcher or the first baseman is not, he's a good 3 or 4 feet away from the bag. So it was just a scare job there. And I might have scared the coach.
Inside. 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cecil Powell, the batter. Fouled away, strike 2. That ball embedded itself in the screen behind us. So Painter now gets the count at 2-2. Powell fouls this one away. This will be out of play.
But this young man is also runs indoor track and cross country, and he's planning on going to going to Old Dominion. He wants to be an FBI agent. He's just a junior, he's age 16. And he's in the fine ROTC program here at Bethel High School.
High ball 3, and the count goes full. So with 1 away and the count full, Mr. Painter has to bring this one in. And he throws him a high and outside pitch, and he'll walk in. Kennedy Bland scores the 3rd run of the ball game.
I think we got a break in action here. Mike Talon's going to go out and talk to Painter, and Von Schilling will meet with him out there on the mound. They'll have a little bit of a huddle here. And we've only got 1 out, 1 in, and bases are still loaded, so he's got a little bit of trouble yet, Tim.
He's got a lot of trouble as Al Gills is stepping up to the plate. Al hitting .311. He's scored 12 runs so far in the season, has 3 doubles. He's played in all 12 of the games that Bethel has played. Conference is concluded. Mike Talon doesn't appear to have anyone warming up. Between innings, we'll see if we can get AG to interview some more people.
That's right.
Big man of Miller. All right. This one, Hyman got a hold of this one, and this one is all the way out to the fence. Hyman, with his speed, will go to third.
Oh, nice hit. Wind's holding it up.
Deep to left, tagging and coming home. And scoring the 4th run.
Well, he did get an RBI on that.
So that's 2 away now, as Al Gills will be given credit for a sacrifice, and he'll get an RBI, as you mentioned. Had 4 coming into the game. Leading RBI man on the team, actually, is a 3-way tie. Winder, Kelly, and Kennedy. Swing and a miss. Chris Winder, the batter.
And his mother is one of the assistant principals here at Bethel High School.
Right back to the pitcher. Painter knocks it down and then throws over to first for the final out.
Well, he just did an excellent job of not panicking too, Tim. That was an excellent. We really have to say something about that, because it's real easy when your ball hit back to you and you knock it down. The first thing you want to do is kind of panic when you throw the ball. AG is going to get Mike Talon here.
We'll try to. I tell you, it's during a game when you're behind 4-0, you got to be careful who you talk to.
I don't envy him at all. And
there you see AG, very nattily attired today, I might add.
Tell you what,
tell who's got the money around here.
He's the man with the plan, right?
That's right.
So
we've played 2 innings, and here's AG with Mike Talon.
You're down by 4 now. What's your strategy?
Every run that got on our so far, I mean, every run that's been on the bases was put there because we aired the ball, or we made an overthrow, or we made a down arrow. We're just flat.
What about Dwayne Ray today? Seems to be pretty effective so far.
He's got a good team behind him. That's what makes him effective. I mean, if I had the talent behind him that he does, and I'd pitch with a lot of confidence too. He's an adequate pitcher. I mean, he does a good job, and the ball moves a little bit, but he's nothing overpowering. He just gets it across the plate. He's got a great defense behind him and a great offense. So, he's got a lot going for him.
All right. Good luck to you, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
All right, AG, thank you. And we thank Mike for being a good sport to talk to us right now with his team trailing 4-0. You don't see them do that with the big boys, you know.
You don't even get
Can
close
you imagine interviewing Billy Martin when his team was down 4-0?
You're not even going to talk to Billy Martin after the ball game when you have a press conference,
That's
let
for
alone
sure.
during the game.
Stepping to the plate now for Phoebus is Tremaine Jackson, number 2.
Somebody for Taylor in left field. We'll have to pick
He's
that up.
the left fielder. Sophomore, batting .220.
That's number 17.
Swing and a miss for Jackson.
For Hampton.
As you mentioned, Dwayne Ray has only appeared in 2 games, completed 1, and he's pitched 9 innings, no runs, just 3 hits, given up 4 walks, and struck out 8 with a 0.00 ERA. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jackson.
He walked the very first batter he faced today, Tim, but outside of that, he's shown very good control. That he's got the ball real close to the plate. In the last inning, he got all 3 batters to pop the ball up, so that was a relatively easy inning for him. But then there was a lot of action that last inning, so you get to sit there a little while and you kind of cool off, and it's hard to get back out to getting the juices flowing again.
Jackson makes contact. He'll get this one to
nice
drop
hit.
in.
That's in there.
So Jackson singles to left. And the Phantoms have something going. Coming up now is Jody Sanzo, the right fielder.
And he is a nephew, by the way, of the Hampton coach, Jesse Sanzo. So Sanzos are pretty well known in the Hampton school system, coaching-wise and player-wise.
We couldn't
Sanzo turns around to bunt and fouls it off. Sanzo batting .450 coming into the ball game. Looking down to third base, see if Coach Talon has something he wants to convey to him. Sanzo has a signal. He's got a man on, nobody out. Top of the third. Throw over to first. Sanzo back easily. There you see a good shot of both the pitcher and the first baseman along with Sanzo and the umpire.
That's an excellent shot.
That's a good shot. Scotty Bowers doing his usual fine job directing this afternoon. Sanzo chases a bad pitch, fouls it into the catcher's mitt, strike two. So Sanzo now behind on the count, 0-2.
Scotty's done a good job of locating the cameras. We got one on each sideline and one out there in right center field. So.
This one is fouled down the right field line. Yeah, you know, it's easy when you work for NBC or something. They got 14 cameras and 3 directors and 7 assistant directors and everything else. But
and instant replay people, slow motion replay. They got the whole 9 yards. Scotty does an excellent job.
The whole crew here, Channel 29, the crew does a super job. Ray delivers again. Sanzo protecting the plate, and this one goes right between the legs of Todd Kelly for an error. Holding up at second.
Oh, Mike Talon is he is hot down there.
As he might be. It looked like Tremaine, I knew I was going to say that. Tremaine Jackson had plenty of time to make the turn and go, and his tentativeness is going to hurt them in a way. They got men on first and second where they might have them on the corners, first and third, but nonetheless, the error will be charged to Todd Kelly at first as he just let that one get through his legs.
Well, he was looking for the bounce coming off of that turf, and it just kind of died. It just went right underneath his glove. He just didn't stay down on it.
You get those bad bounces. Inside corner, strike call to Matt Levister. 265 batting average. Matt is a senior, plays center field. Ray checks the runner, throws it outside, 1-1. Top of the third, 4-0 Bethel.
We got a little break here as Levister's going to go down, make sure he understands what Mike Talon wants him to do. He makes sure to get the signal straight. The worst thing in the world you can do as a batter, you get up there and you do something that the signal says, no, you're supposed to bunt, you swing away, or vice versa. So he wanted to make sure, which is a smart move. If you're not sure, go down and talk to the coach. And there's a good shot of Levister right there with Billy Allen catching.
This one's high inside, 2-1.
Billy Allen's another young man that we talked about. Remember, he's one of the running backs for Bethel High School this year. Tim,
that name is very familiar. That name was very familiar to me, and I was trying to remember where I had known that name. 3-1. So Dwayne Ray now has got himself in a little bit of a jam. 2 men on, nobody out. And a 3-1 count to Matt Levister.
Let's see if Mike's got him swinging away or taking here.
This part of it tore down. We're hoping that Bobby and AG can get out there. And
squares around to bunt and takes a call, strike 2. And Matt is not exactly in total agreement with that call.
No, he's shaking his head.
He didn't care for the first strike call that he got. I mean, that was, you know,
that was just caught the inside corner according to the umpire.
So the count goes to a full count on Levister. And this one's low, ball 4. So now the bases are loaded for the Phantoms. And John Painter, batting .343, steps up to the plate.
Well, I tell you, who is that young man on there on third? That's Jackson. He got off the hook. He wasn't on third, but he got pushed down on a walk, so he kind of got off the hook on that one. Coach can't be too mad at him now.
Painter looks at a high outside pitch. So Painter now with a chance to further his own cause. The pitcher with a .343 batting average and the bases loaded with nobody out. So the Phantoms are looking pretty good right now. This one is looking real good, right down the pipe.
Right down the pipe. It most certainly was, Tim. There's no doubt about that call.
1-1 to Painter. Top of the third, Bethel scored twice in the bottom of the first and again duplicated that effort in the bottom of the second. And this one catches the corner. Painter says, how come you don't call those for me when I'm pitching? So Painter looked at a second strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
So people on the right are very upset. People on the left are happy.
Painter hits this one down the first baseline, foul. And Scotty came close to getting the man hit by a pitch, or hit by a bat ball, rather.
Yeah, that was a little bit questionable call, according to the contingent here from Phoebus High School.
Like you said, it's just like in basketball. You're going to please half the people, and you're going to make the other half unhappy.
Very unhappy.
Painter now with 2 strikes and a ball. Oh, nice looking pitch. That was a really nice looking pitch. And he got him looking for the first out of the inning. And Painter knows it too.
Yeah, he knew that was in it, but he's still not very happy about that one called strike.
So Dwayne Ray gets himself out of a bit of a jam here, but now he has to look at Tim Williams, the league's leading batter, with the bases loaded.
And there's another young man that we talked about during the football season. If you remember, he was one of the runners for the Phoebus Phantoms this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Williams batting .514. Fouls this one off. 1-1's the count. Painter, of course, as you mentioned, the top batter in the district.
Oh, not Painter, Tim.
I mean Williams. I've done that twice. Williams is the top batter in the district. I was curious as to what his RBI totals are, but I don't have those. But he, well, yes, he does. 5 runs batted in, if that's right. That seems kind of low for someone who's batting .514.
It sure does. Of course, if you're hitting and there's nobody on base, it makes no difference. You're not going to get any RBIs. But he's in the third batting position, so you're hoping that with the 265 and the 343 in front of him, Lavister and Painter, you'd think they'd be on base a few times.
This one's high inside, goes to 2-1. Williams, of course, would like to get a hold of that ball, but he'd just soon settle for a walk at this point with the bases jammed.
Get that first run in it.
Jammed him on this one. This one's popped up. It's playable. The catcher has it. Nice play. That's the toughest play in baseball, in my opinion. And he throws it out to the mound thinking that the pitcher was there. And actually, they may have been thinking that was the third out.
I think that was more of the throw than anything, Tim, was a throw like it was a third out because he really didn't throw it to anybody.
They just kind of rolled it out there like the inning was over. So fortunately for the Bruins, the Phantoms weren't able to capitalize on it. And now big Chris Black, the designated hitter, batting .483, steps in. And you get by Williams. Now you got to face Black.
Yeah.
Bases loaded, 2 away. And he gets him to pop it up. It's going to be in foul territory. Todd Kelly has a beat on it. And the Bruins get themselves out of a jam.
I tell you, Tim, that was a jam. He had the bases loaded, nobody out, and he got them all out. And he has preserved his no runs. That's a tremendous
doing it the hard
undertaking.
way.
Tremendous undertaking.
Another pitcher is batting up there and making back away from the plate.
So they load the bases up, and Mike Talon has to be somewhat upset as his team just couldn't get one of those runs across. We give credit to Ray as he bore down when he had to, and the last 2 outs he got were both hitters batting over 280. I mean, it's 480. So you got to know that you've done a good job when you get the league's leading batter, and certainly one of the runners up in that area. Let's see. Well, apparently Chris Black hasn't batted enough times to make the minimum at bats here. It says 40 appearances.
Yeah, because he would be like in the number 4 spot, as far as the Peninsula District goes, with the 483.
He's just a sophomore, too. Doesn't that make you feel good?
And he's a big young guy.
He really is. He's a horse. I don't remember calling his name during football season. He might have been a lineman, and we just didn't get enough
Well, they don't get the
opportunities.
publicity. They deserve it, but they just don't get it.
Bounced right over his glove and went clear to the corner.
Well, I'm not going to tell him that.
That's your job, not mine.
See some of the fans here at the ballpark. And now we go to the bottom of the third. Bethel leading 4-0. Todd Kelly steps in. Fouled off to the left.
Another thing that Todd does, Tim, is rather interesting, is he is a hurdler on the track team, which is the same time baseball and track are going on at the same time, and he runs the hurdles for the Bethel High School track team.
Fouled off the second pitch.
So we're talking 4 sports here. When was the last time you ran into a 4-letter sportsman?
Batting .444, no less. Coming into the game, 16 for 36 at the plate. Looks at a low inside pitch. Ball 1, strike 2. Greg Blake is certainly calling some strange pitches from our angle, and I will say that from our angle because he certainly has a much better. Painter comes sidearm. Kelly pops it up to the third baseman. He's got a beat on it, and he's got it.
That was the first time we've seen him come sidearm, Tim. He's been coming over the top all game, and that one he did, as you said, come in sidearm and got Todd to pop that ball up.
Brian Painter down at third base fighting the wind was able to make the catch. One away. Coming up to the plate now will be 32, Billy Allen, the catcher. 3:23 coming into the game. It looks like Painter has definitely started to drop down to that sidearm. I may be wrong, but I don't remember him throwing sidearm earlier in the game.
The pitch before last was the first one I remember seeing him throw sidearm. Now he's coming over the top that time.
Yeah. So he's mixing it up a little bit, trying to keep the batters on their heels.
When you come sidearm a little bit and you got a right-handed batter in it, that's a little scary to that batter sometimes. That may be why he's doing it.
Who's that pitcher, Kent Tekulve? He's, I'm not sure who he plays for now. He used to pitch for the Pirates, and he virtually is a submariner. I mean, he literally throws it
looks
from
like it's
below the
coming
knees.
right out of the mound.
Oh, it's incredible trying to keep track of that ball. This one is low, ball 4. So Billy Allen will get the free pass. Bruins have a runner on first.
We got a DH coming up, Tim.
One away, and the batter is Kevin Carpenter, who because he swung on the first pitch last inning, didn't get much notoriety, so maybe we can keep him up there long enough to tell you a little bit about him. Close play at first. Good move by Painter.
That was a definite pickoff move that time.
Carpenter, the batter, comes in hitting .360. Played in 11 games. He's got 9 hits at 25 at-bats. Scored 3 runs. Has 1 home run. Another close play. He's got a homer and a stolen base and 8 RBIs. Kevin Carpenter. Just a junior. Another play. So they're keeping Billy Allen close to the bag over there.
What's Billy's running? How many stolen bases he got this year, Tim?
Billy coming into the game had 5 stolen bases, so they must know that he can run. Does not go. One away, man on first. Again, another play, not close this time. Clouds have replaced the sun again.
And that wind's picked up a bit too. But maybe it's just cooler, I don't know.
Still blowing in. This one, late swing, fouled off the end of the bat.
Well, that was a hit and run that Bouchard had on that time. He had to protect the plate. That's his job. If you've got a hit and run on, then that batter's got to protect that plate and hopefully hit behind the runner. So he batted, he swung a little bit late. You get that ball behind the runner, and sometimes you can get him all the way around to third base.
High ball 2, 2-1. So Carpenter's been up there a while, but he's only got a 2-1 count on him.
Well, a lot of the ball's been thrown over to Joyner at first base.
And yet another play.
I knew it wouldn't be long before AG got a good-looking gal to talk to.
He gets all the soft assignments. Good breaking pitch. Throw down to second, not in time, as Billy Allen will get a stolen base, and the count will go to 2-2 on the batter.
Get a chance between the innings. AG is going to talk with Mrs. Ray, Dwayne Ray's mother. 15-20 seconds to get a perspective on her outlook at this ball game and how well her son is doing. She's got to be real pleased.
And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. I wasn't sure. I don't know whether he was fooled or he was trying to protect the plate or what.
Nobody was running that time.
No, he just took kind of a feeble swing at it.
Yeah, it was really outside, Tim. It wasn't even close. He's trying to hit the ball to the right side, and that was probably why he followed that pitch so far outside.
Kennedy Bland comes up to the plate, gets away from the catcher. And they'll hold Allen as retrieving the ball very quickly with Scott Von Schilling. Kennedy Bland, as I mentioned earlier, hitting .323, got 9 RBIs, 10 hits at 31 at-bats coming into the game.
Too bad we don't have a roving mic. We can get it to Bobby.
Again, being very much aware of Mr. Allen's presence on second base.
Whoever's trying to get up there.
Painter tosses a
Beautiful day for baseball today.
easy throw to the second baseman covering. Ball high, 2 balls, 1 strike to Kennedy Bland. We're in the bottom of the third. Bethel leading 4-0. Man on second, 2 away. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble from Bruin Park, as this is a called strike on the outside corner.
That's another one of those. I mean, it's close on the outside corner.
Kennedy Bland took a stroll for a minute just to think that pitch over. This one is in the dirt. Going on the play is Allen. Perfect throw, but he is safe. And that was a super play on the part of Scott Von Schilling. That throw was right on the money. Just a momentary hesitation on the part of the third baseman making the tag, and I think that was the difference.
It really was, because that was an excellent throw.
Von Schilling threw a strike to the third baseman. So now the Bruins have a man on third with the count 2-2 and 2 outs. This one hit up the middle, slow roller, and it's going to score a run as Bland will get a single and an RBI.
And that's what a stolen base will do for you, Tim. He'd have still been on second. All he would have got to third, and that was it.
You know, the greatest example of what speed does for you, in my mind, when it comes to mind, is the St. Louis Cardinals. They didn't hit half a dozen home runs, it seems like, last year. And the play at second is an out, as Kennedy Bland is gotten on the play at second. Didn't get as good a jump as he might have, and I'll get back to that in a minute, but I believe AG is standing by, and we'll go to him now, and Dwayne Ray's mom.
Now, if we get the camera to focus on him here, go ahead, AG.
You start talking, we'll find you.
All right, Tim and Bob, we got Sylvia Ray here, mother of Dwayne Ray, and you're up 5-0. Happy?
Certainly am. They're having a good game.
Dwayne hadn't been scored on too often this year.
So far, hasn't been scored on at all.
All right, what about this team? How far can it go?
Oh, I think they can go all the way. They're an exceptional team this year.
Okay, good luck to you and your son today.
Thank you.
All right, Tim, Bob, Sylvia Ray, mother of Dwayne Ray, who has not been scored on this year.
All right, thank you, AG. Yeah, he is perfect on the season. Came in having pitched 9 innings of scoreless ball. Now, of course, you can add to that 3 more.
And not only that, Tim, he got himself out of a real tight situation with the bases loaded and nobody out in the last inning. And did a good job of not panicking and just going right to his arsenal, because he threw a couple pitches in there with excellent pitches. And then, of course, he got 2 of the batters to pop the ball up, which is always nice.
So the Hardy fans out here this afternoon in this crisp spring afternoon from Bruin Park. We remind you that we will be doing a girls softball game the 13th of May. That's a week from Friday. And also we remind you that we will be out at the Hampton Coliseum Mother's Day, the 8th of May, for a doubleheader basketball game. The Boo Williams girls team will play the Canadian National girls team, and then Boo Williams under 19 AAU team, who swept the state championships last weekend, and they just demolished the team in the finals. It was like 137 to 23 or something.
I mean, at one point they had them 80 points. They were ahead 80 points, Tim, and the big guns didn't even play.
So Boo Williams' team will be looking for revenge this coming Sunday at the Hampton Coliseum, as they will play the Soviet national junior team, and we will be there to bring those games to you. Strike 1. The count on the batter.
And if anybody got a chance to read the article that was in the paper the other day about Boo Williams, he has been looking to play this Russian team for a year. He felt like that they had a good chance of beating them last year and just didn't play good basketball all that second half. And he thinks that his team is really going to give all they can handle.
2 strikes to Mickey Joyner, the first baseman for Phoebus. 285 batting average for the big senior. Little slow curve there to try and tantalize Joyner. Dwayne Ray mixing up his pitches. The left-hander winds, and this one is hit sharply to the third baseman. Mishandled, and getting on first will be Joyner. So I'd have to rule that. I guess you'd have to rule that an error, but that's one of those sharp balls, just like the one hit earlier to the second baseman.
That one looked more like, I would have counted that as a hit.
Play was mishandled by Van McAdoo, the third baseman. We don't have the official scorer at our beck and call here, so we really don't know for sure how they'll rule that. But nonetheless, Joyner's on first, and again, Phoebus continues to put people on base. This is a call strike on the catcher, Scott Von Schilling.
Well, I tell you about McAdoo down there third. He did a good job stopping that ball, Tim, and just knocking it down.
A little bit outside, 1-1. Curveball still outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Last 2 pitches thrown almost in exactly the same spot. This one is popped up, foul, out of play. And it runs the count to 2-2. That shot coming to you from our center field camera, way out there next to the 350 sign. Actually, I say center field, it's more like the right field.
It's right center.
Thank you.
Help you out there, too.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm having a little difficulty on my bearings here. This one's popped up to the infield. It's a short pop-up, and Todd Kelly makes the easy grab for the first out.
Jammed him on that, got it right on inside the handle of that ball about that time.
So 1 away, and the batter is Eric Waterton, the shortstop. Had a couple of tough chances there in the last inning, inning 4.
If you remember last game, Tim, somebody was very kind and brought you up a hot dog. We don't see anybody running around here with any hot dogs, but I talked to Danny Mitchell, and he said, did Tim like that hot dog? He said, that's the best hot dogs in the state there.
Hey, it was a good hot dog.
I said, Tim devoured it and had a grin on his face, so I know he liked it.
That was. That's over there at Post, let's see, what was that?
31.
Post 31, right,
Yeah.
over there near
East End Trimble Field.
what used to be Darling Stadium.
Well, still Darley Stadium, just half of it's gone.
That's right, at least half is gone. Hit sharply to the short stop and thrown away. Bad throw. Ball goes into right field, and advancing to third is Joyner. And stopping at first is Waterton. So the Bruins having some difficulty with the glove here in the fourth inning. Phoebus now with men on first and third. One away. And the batter is number 2, Tremaine Jackson.
Who, by the way, got a hit first time up, Tim.
Got a hit first time up, which will undoubtedly improve his .220 batting average. And we're going to have a pinch runner now coming in for Phoebus is Russell Price, who will take over the running chores at first for Waterton. You know, we saw this last week, and I'm not sure of the rule on this, but we saw them bring a pinch runner in, but yet the person who was replaced stayed in the ballgame.
Yeah, that was Denton, who came off for a pinch runner, but yet that he continued to play when they went out in the field. So I don't know what the rule is or not, but evidently you're allowed to do that at least once.
How did Danny Mitchell know I got a hot dog list?
He heard us talking about that hot dog.
Now at the plate is Jackson.
I just wondered if he heard all the comments Bobby Croft was making.
Yeah, fortunately we don't see Bobby around here today.
Oh, well, now, he's only at Hampton High School. He's not going to come over here. This is enemy territory.
1 ball, no strikes. Nice, I see. Thank goodness he's not here. Bobby is a pleasure to be around. And by the way, he was the man who bought that hot dog.
Yes, he was.
And is going. Throw is high and in safely at second is Russell Price. So now the force play is off. Joyner, not the fleetest of runners at third, decided not to try and stretch it home.
I don't think that was even in the playbook.
So 2 men in scoring position now.
Well, you got to, when you're behind, you got to make sure you get your runs in. You can't be gambling.
This one is a called strike.
Tremaine wasn't too happy about that one.
That one's right across the letters.
So this one can't.
So Jackson out getting the signal from Mike Talon, the coach at third. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out. And this one hit sharply, takes a bad hop. The Phantoms will get an RBI out of the play. Good dig of a not great throw by Todd Kelly. He dug it out of the dirt to get the runner. But the Phantoms hit the score column. So an RBI is registered.
I was just wondering now, that would probably be counted as an unearned run because of the error that got him on the base or got him moved around.
Very, very possible.
On that throw to second.
It's the right call to the batter, Jody Sanzo, batting .450, coming in. Sanzo's got a man on second, 2 outs. Strike 2. So Dwayne Ray's earned run average may not be affected, but he has in fact given up a run. I always felt that the ERA was what the pitcher, you know, talking about personal credentials, that's what you're concerned about, of course, when you figure those statistics up, because it's not your fault if it's not an earned run.
That's right.
Unless you make the error that causes the run. This one's fouled back. Dangerously close to my red car.
Well, Tim, when it's painted red, it kind of stands out.
Yeah, So 0-2 is the count. Sanzo stands in, man on second, 2 away. Wayne Ray trying to get this batter out. This one's hit to the shortstop. Been a busy place this game. And easy throw over to first for the out. So the Phantoms get 1 run. And after 3.5 innings, Bethel still leads. Now the score 5-1.
While we have a little break here, as AG is going to go over and talk to Jeff Allen, who was one of the leaders in earned run average. In fact, he's got a point, according to the paper, .142, and according to Bouchard's statistics, I think he's got a little bit better ERA than that, .1.20, which would lead him in the district. And
I can't get him.
AG has got him, so.
I see him, but it's very bad.
We have kind of a tough spot that we'll see if we can't get him on camera.
Okay, we'll try to get you on camera then. Tim, go ahead.
Jeff Allen here. Jeff, let's say you hit 5-1. You got to be happy so far in this game.
Yeah, we can't. Nothing wrong with that. We should be all over this team. With a few mistakes in the field, the defense, and all, but still pretty soon our best around.
Jeff, you have to be happy with the year you're having so far. I think you're 4-1 and just really been having a great year.
Yeah, I really worked on keeping the ball down and keeping up my velocity, just keeping them off stride, just kind of mixing my pitches up.
Jeff, how far can this team go?
We go all the way. No good about it.
Good luck to you, Jeff. Jeff Allen, ace pitcher of the Bruins.
He has definitely done an admirable job this year, Tim, with that run earned average of 1.20. That's excellent.
Stepping up to the plate now for the Bruins. Dwayne Ray, the pitcher, hits the high one hopper, and he's out at first. So Dwayne will trot back to the dugout. And the batter will be number 24, Ricky Drum. Drum is the second baseman. And as I mentioned before, coming in 324. Fouled off the fists. Strike one. It's more like football weather today, isn't it, Bob?
You must be reading my mind, Tim. I was wondering, I needed my long johns on. That wind is really brisk.
Hits sharply down the third baseline. Good try by the third baseman, McAdoo, to get the ball. Going to second with no trouble at all is Ricky Drum. So he'll go in there with a double on a line shot down the third baseline. A good effort, as I mentioned, by Brian Painter, the third baseman. That ball was a hit all the way.
Was that? That was an excellent shot.
Here's where you get into that. Remember I was saying how official scoring is an art. The ball was mishandled somewhat by the left fielder, and I'm not sure that, again, that's where you have to go back to opinions. The scorer could rule that that was a single with an error, but I think he'll probably give him a double on that.
That's what I would have given him a double. It would have been it would have to been an awful perfect throw to catch the runner going into second.
Two balls, no strikes. Batter Cecil Powell, 23, left fielder. Powell hitting .286. If he gets on, you can look for him to move. He's got 13 stolen bases. Called strike one. Hit to the first baseman, who's going to have to make the play himself. He does, and that advances Drum to third base. So we've got two outs now. And stepping to the plate will be Al Gills, the shortstop.
Feel a little bit of sun coming out here, Tim. Let's take advantage of this.
I'm waiting for you to start a fire in here in a minute now. Strike on the inside corner to Gills. Gills batting .311, 14 hits in 45 attempts. Got 12 runs scored, and he's got 3 doubles. Gills hits this one to center field. The wind is going to hold it up, and it's taken for the third out by Levister, the center fielder. So now the Bruins are held off the scoreboard for the first time in this ball game. They had scored twice in the first, twice in the second, once in the third. And the top of the fourth, Phoebus got in the score column. with a single run. And now the Bruins go down without scoring here in the bottom of the fourth. So we're in a 5-1 ball game. And I remind you again that this game will air Tuesday at 9 and Thursday at 9 p.m. So if you're watching the game Tuesday night and you have some friends that might have wanted to catch the ball game, see how the players looked on the camera, remind them Thursday night here on Channel 29.
Oh, and also, Tim, we'd like to ask the viewers to, send some.
A lot of the Hardy fans. Excuse me, Bob. I just wanted to mention there was a lot of Hardy fans. I'm surprised AG isn't sitting up there with those pretty young ladies.
He had spotted them or something's wrong with him. I don't know. Maybe his glasses are dirty.
I'm sorry.
But we'd like to get some comments from the fans as they watch these broadcasts to help us bring these games from the school system. We cover all the Hampton sports, and we try to anyway. We're going to catch one of the girls' softball teams, as you mentioned, games. We did the state championship last year, as Kickintan was in the state championship in the girls. So any comments you have, hopefully they'll be good. If they're not, send them anyway. We appreciate them. And at least we know that somebody's out there watching us.
Well, you know what we do with those comments? A lot like Ed McMahon sends you that sweepstakes thing where it says, no, I do not want to enroll in any of the magazines.
Right.
We take all the negative comments and we put them in the same file with those. Okay. And then if you do want to take a subscription, then of course we'll put yes on the envelope.
I got you.
No, in all seriousness, we do enjoy bringing these games to you, and we would like to hear your comments. More importantly, not so much about critique as much as we'd like to hear if you'd like to have more, because of course it costs money to bring these games to you. We do not use sponsors. We're not adverse to using sponsors. We just don't have any means for securing advertisers per se. But it does take an effort on the part of a lot of people to bring the games to you. We enjoy doing so. And if you'd like to have more sports brought to you here on Channel 29, let us know. Make your voice heard. The school board has been very cooperative in funding these games and making these games possible. And as we go along, we hope to do bigger and better things. I'm told, and it's still a rumor, that we're going to be looking at instant replay here before long.
Well, and let me tell you something else, Tim, is I know a lot of the fans, I have talked to some of the people who have watched the ball games, and they said that the transmission on Channel 29 over cable is just horrendous. Sometimes the sound is distorted, the picture is distorted. AG is talking about they're setting up a microwave, and they're going to do a direct broadcast or something. I'm not exactly how that's going to be, and it's going to cost some money, but we're going to improve the picture, the quality of the sound and the quality of the picture both. So these are things that we can look forward to. So we just want some support, find out if you do like our broadcasts and what we can do for you. So drop us a line at the Hampton Schools Board at Nickerson Boulevard, or call down and talk to Dr. Sam Still at 851-8411.
Matt Levester is the batter. The wind getting a little more ferocious here. The wind really is coming in there at a good clip. I tell you, to hit one out of here today, you'd have to have a last name of Jackson.
You talk about Mr. October.
That's right. I'm not talking about Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I was wondering why he's in the
Dwayne Ray jams Levester.
He swung on that thing was more self-defense than anything else. That was inside and it was going to be a ball, but he was backing out of the way and swinging at the same time. Whew, the wind really has picked up.
One ball.
And I don't like the look of the sky either.
1 and 2. Strike 3. So Levester goes down swinging. And that'll bring up number 5, John Painter, the pitcher for Phoebus. Painter with a hefty .343 batting average. Actually, wouldn't be bad out here, Bob, if the wind would stop blowing a little bit.
Yeah, that wind really reminds us of football weather. You said that right.
Painter steps in with one away. Strike call. Dwayne Ray now back on a roll. He had a couple of shaky innings there. Top of the third, he loaded them up with nobody out and got out of the inning unscathed. Then in the fourth, Phoebus got their lone run. This one is in the dirt, 1-1.
Yeah, you want to trade places?
This has got to be what I would consider to be a pitcher's dream, is to have this kind of win.
Good one.
This one's popped up to the right side. Todd Kelly makes the basket catch.
That's the kind of catch that always scares
Oh,
you.
me too.
And Willie Mays could do that better than anybody, that a basket catch. But
It always is something I always feel uneasy about.
yeah, I got to catch that ball above my head, not below my head or below my eyes where I have to follow it down. That's a tough catch. If you got good hand-eye coordination, it shouldn't be any problem. Nice hit.
Tim Williams, who had been struggling here in the ball game, gets this one to get past Kennedy Bland, and Williams will stretch it out to a three-bagger. Throw comes in late, and it looks like we're going to watch Williams try to score. He will. So Williams, with the benefit of a bad throw over to third, goes all the way around the base paths. And now it's 5-2, so Phoebus is not out of this ball game by any means. Anybody that thought they were going to lay down and let Bethel steamroll them over there were mistaken. Coming to the plate now, big Chris Black, designated hitter, a sophomore, batting .483. So that was a tough play there. Kennedy Bland went for the short hop, and it got past him, so Williams was going to go to third without any question, and then the relay throw over to third was mishandled, and Williams scores.
And they had the people backing up the throw, Tim, so they had somebody that should not have gotten in there. The people who was backing up the throw did not do a good job. Oh, what a nice play.
By the shortstop. Oh, my, that was a super play. And that is going to be the rest of the...
Al Gills did an excellent job that time of catching out. That's when you wish you had instant replay to show how deep and how far behind second he had to go to get that ball, and yet threw the young man out at first base.
So as you said, and rightly so, a very nice play by Al Gills, who not only waves a mean bat, but he doesn't do badly in the glove department. So Phoebus now has been able to scratch away and get 2 runs. And we're looking at a 5-2 score. I think AG went over to see if he could get someone else to talk to.
Well, he's going to try to get Mike Talon again and get some comments from Mike. Mike is
reluctant.
No, he does a good job. He'll come out and talk to you. He's not afraid to talk to you. That's one thing I like about Mike Talon. Go ahead, AG.
Mike, down 5-2, you're coming back a little bit.
If they keep making mistakes, maybe we'll come back a little bit. We don't need them. Okay? They've got, we put them there and we've advanced them. So, we're beating ourselves right now.
Okay, 3 runs, not too much though. We got 2 innings left.
Well, if you got a real good offensive team, it's not. And if you got a real strong pitcher on the mound, it helps. But we can do it. We just got to keep them from scoring. We've got to be more aggressive at the plate ourselves and more aggressive in the field. We're just really tentative and flat. I don't know how we've gotten this far and kept it this close so far.
Okay. All right. Good.
Foul ball down. Thank you, AG and Mike, as the batter, Chris Winder, just hit a rope down third baseline.
I'm going to tell you, that ball had some steam behind it.
It was really tagged, but fortunately for Phoebus and unfortunately for the Bruins, that ball was just wide of the bag. Just on this side of the bag, so it's a foul ball. 1-1 is the count to Winder. Winder hitting .375. Curveball outside, 2-1. Chris Winder has 9 RBIs on the season, 12 hits out of 32 chances coming into the game. Curveball, 3-1. Painter wanted that call, and didn't look like it was that bad a pitch.
No, it didn't. It was over the inside part of the plate.
Painter misses outside, ball 4, so Winder gets the free pass.
You can just see, excuse me, Tim, Painter he feels like he's not getting any breaks at all, and it's in his stature out there, how he's standing, he looks like, geez, you know, that some of them are so close they could be called either way, and they're not. He just feels like he's not getting any breaks, and of course that doesn't do a whole lot for your self-confidence either.
Todd Kelly steps in. Kelly, as we mentioned before, batting .444, looks at a pitch inside, ball 1. Kelly with 16 hits, and he is the leading man in that department and they got him on the pickoff play. They got on a super throw over there, picked off number 18, Chris Winder, as Winder's lead was a little longer than it should have been.
Coach Bouchard started to walk out there to talk to the umpire, and he said, nah, maybe not.
You're not going to win that argument, so you might as well just save your energy. So that out now, registered by Winder. This one hit by Kelly a ton out to left center. Falls in the gap, and Kelly is on his way to second. And he'll be in there with a stand-up double. So unfortunately for the Bruins, they had that man on first. He very likely would have scored.
More than likely would have scored. You're right, Tim. But that was a long ball. That bounced up against the fence. With the way that wind is blowing, Todd, that shows you the kind of power Todd Kelly has. And as you said earlier, he's batting .444, so he's helping his statistics.
Billy Allen steps in, the catcher. And he tags the ball out in deep left, and it's over the left fielder's head. Todd Kelly will score, and Billy Allen will go into second. And he may try and stretch it to 3. He's going to. He's going to be tagged out, however, at third base. So a double to Allen, and he's tagged out on a good throw from the left fielder on the attempt to make it a triple.
Well, when you're leading and you got a 3 or 4 run lead, you can do some things, Tim, that you normally wouldn't have done, and that was one of them. He was going to make the guy throw him out. He had no intention of slowing down. I was watching him when he was headed for second. He already was looking at third.
Strike call to Kevin Carpenter, the designated hitter.
The last 2 batters have hit John Painter real well. They've got a lot of wood on that ball.
Painter might be getting a little tired. He's throwing a lot of pitches.
Yes, he has. And not only to the catcher, he's thrown a lot to the first baseman.
1-1 the count to Carpenter. 1 run in on the inning. Carpenter bounces it foul down the third baseline. The Bruins had seen Phoebus cut that lead to 3. Now they've stretched it back out with that run. 6-2 the score. Todd Kelly.
They only lost 2 games that Coach thought that they had not played well.
Starting the inning off and getting a double.
This is a team that can really upset.
And Billy Allen knocked him home and got tagged out trying to stretch a double to a triple. And now Carpenter swings at a third strike. And the Bruins are out of the inning, but not before they score 1 run. And after 5 full innings, our score is Bethel 6, Phoebus 2. In cool, brisk Bruin Park.
Well, this is a little nostalgic for me to come down back to Bethel High School. I spent 12 years here, Tim, but none of them in this position, none of them at the baseball now. I didn't have anything to do with baseball. I helped coach track with Coach Kozlowski for a couple years, and was a basketball coach, and was a JV football coach for 1 year over here, and also was a golf coach. So I did everything but baseball. Roger Bouchard has been here baseball just about as long as I can remember. A young man by the name of Henkel coached just prior to Roger taking over. And he's done an excellent job. They came over here yesterday and did just some of the talking with the players, and Scotty said that they really do an excellent job on fundamentals. That Bouchard worked fundamentals for a long time yesterday, and that's why they're so good. And you and I know that to be good in anything, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, track, whatever it is, you have to do the fundamentals well. And that's one thing that Bouchard does as a coach is works on the fundamentals. And not saying that Mike Talon does. Mike does a good job too, as we have seen him in the past, especially with the girls basketball and with the baseball team, because they have won a district out there at Phoebus one year, and he's told me that. So I thought I'd bring
right on
that
the back
in.
of his jacket. Right on the back of his jacket, it says Eastern Regional Champs, 19, what does it say, 42? 87, 1987, just last year. So.
Yeah.
So we go to the top of the 6th. I should have reminded us, our fans earlier, that in high school ball they play 7 innings, unless of course there's a tie, and then we would have extra innings. But regulation play is 7 innings rather than 9 that you might be familiar with, or 6 with the younger players.
So you're familiar with both the older and the younger,
I'm right in there. Mickey Joyner steps to the plate. Joyner looks at a pitch. It looked pretty good from here, but it's called a ball. Umpire had a closer look than I did. This one is popped up to the right side. Todd Kelly has room and makes the grab. So Todd Kelly makes the play at first. And now coming to the plate for Phoebus, Scott Von Schilling, the catcher, batting .343.
He's done an excellent job behind the plate this year, or this game, Tim. He made a real excellent throw down there on the attempted steal.
Von Schilling hits it to the shortstop. And safe at first as Kelly was pulled off the bag. The throw was a little bit errant. Good play on the field, but the throw was just a little bit wide of Al Gills, who made a super play earlier in the ball game to end the inning last inning, I believe it was. This time made the good pickup, but made the throw a little wide, and Todd Kelly was pulled off the bag. So Von Schilling will reach on a throwing error. Pitch is low to the batter, Eric Waterton, the shortstop.
4 8-minute quarters for high school basketball. 6:45 remaining here.
Ray will pitch back to the first baseman, trying to catch Von Schilling leaning one way.
He took a nice healthy lead that time. There's a good shot of the batter and the catcher. There we go. We can see the lead that he's taken.
And this is called a strike on the inside corner. Waterton didn't think so, but doesn't really matter. This one's outside, and they've got the runner, Von Schilling, hung up as Kelly will throw down, and he'll be tagged out easily as Von Schilling just simply kind of said, "Oh my heavens, what have I done?" So sometimes you just, as I mentioned earlier, you get leaning the wrong way, and if your momentum, because you started that way, and they throw behind you like that, you're a dead duck.
Billy Allen did a good job getting that ball down to Todd Kelly at first, and like you said, Von Schilling was leaning the wrong way. Scott, I know that's not what he intended to do.
Outside, 3 balls, 1 strike. 2 away, top of the 6th. This is low, and it's a ball 4, and Waterton will take the base.
Wallace in the ball game for Bethel.
And the batter coming up now is Termaine Jackson.
Downtown, the shot from Chappelle.
I wonder if he sings.
I've already called him Jermaine one time.
I know. It's almost, you looked at it, you figure that's what it's got to be.
I'm sorry, Bob, I think that.
And on first, 2 out, Phoebus trailing 6-2, top of the 6th.
Is that correct? Did you help me on that?
Ray delivers into the shortstop, over to second for the out. So the Phantoms get 1 run. Excuse me, they get no runs. the 6th. Bethel leading 6-2.
We're going to switch over to AG and Coach Roger Bouchard.
All right, 10-5, we got Skip, Coach Bouchard, and Coach, you're up 6-2. You got about an inning and a half left. What are your thoughts?
Well, right now, they're hanging close, which is what I told you, the way they play. They're waiting for a miscue. We had a real bad miscue out there in right. But thank goodness we had Al make a couple of good plays down at shortstop. But what we're going to try to do now, we're going to probably pinch hit Ray and try to get a real big rally going here and try to put this thing out of reach.
You dodged a bullet back there in one of the earlier innings with the bases loaded.
Well, see, the big thing about a pitcher, he's got to learn how to pitch through and around mistakes by his teammates, and he did that.
Can this team go all the way this year, Coach?
Any team can go all the way. We have a good shot just like anybody else does. Now, if we continue to hit, get good pitching, continue our base running, we got a real good shot at it.
Maybe we'll talk to you and Ray after the game.
Okay, thank you.
10-5, Skip Bouchard.
Okay, AG. It's a little hard to see them. They're behind the fence, but they were there. That was an interesting comment that Bouchard made about learning how to pitch around the mistakes that some of your players are making, and Ray did an excellent job. So we got 33 batting now, Tim. This is Kennedy Bland. Got caught stealing last time he was on base.
10-6, Phoebus trailing by 4.
John Painter delivers, hit to the shortstop. Waterton, the long throw, and it's a long high throw, and pulls the first baseman off the bag. So again, on the errant throw, Bland will make the base. I'm not so sure he would have gotten him with a good throw. Bland shows some good speed going down first. Makes you really appreciate the major league players when you see the plays that they make in those situations.
It really does.
I was watching an excellent program last night on ESPN. It was on last night at 11 o'clock last night. I had never seen it. If you're a baseball fan, certainly not plugging ESPN for any particular reason, but it's called Major League Baseball Magazine. And it is one fine baseball program. It's a half hour of highlights and feature articles and so forth. Excellent show. Comes on Monday nights at 11 o'clock.
Well, I'll have to try to catch that. Chad Ostenfeld is pinch hitting or is batting in place of Dwayne Ray. As Bouchard talked to our roving reporter AG, he said that what he's going to do is pinch hit for Ray and try to get something going and put him away. Now I got a runner on first. And this is a big young man he's got up here. I don't have any, actually he's only batted once this year according to my statistics, Tim, and he's 1 for 1. That's a pretty good deal.
You can only go downhill from here. That's the only problem. You can't do any better than that. Unless you go 2 for 2. Fouls the first pitch down the third baseline. But seriously, back to what I was saying a moment ago, and I don't want to belabor the point, but if you're a baseball fan, you'd like to see a real fine recap of the previous week and then some special features. This Major League Baseball magazine on ESPN Monday nights at 11, if you can stay up that late, it's an excellent program. I had never seen it. Just happened to be
watching home late.
Yeah, no, I was watching it. I was waiting for the 11:30 sports broadcast, being a sports freak like I am, and I caught this show, and it was great. Jammed him on the fist. This was popped up, and it's out of play right behind us, and the count goes to 0-2.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Chad is up there swinging. He's not up there looking at that ball. He's swinging both of them, make contact with both pitches.
0-2 the count. Bland on first.
Jackson, no good. Stewart, yes.
And Painter comes sidearm. This one is just outside, 1-2.
Stewart gets his first bucket of the night.
So Painter, on occasion now, as we've seen, likes to drop down and throw that sidearm pitch.
Back come the Bruins.
And he tempted him.
He did that. That was kind of a slow breaker outside, and Chad had a notion at it. It's 2-2.
Morgan has
and got him on the slow curve. So now Mr. Ostenfeld is batting .500 on the season.
That's what's bad about when you're 1-1. You go from 1,000 to 500.
And Ricky Drum will step up, second baseman. Man on, one away.
Markio King, who wasn't supposed to play.
Bottom of the 6th. Bethel and Phoebus. Bethel ahead 6-2. Jumped out to a 5-0 lead through the first 3 innings. Phantoms came back with a run of their own in the top of the 4th and another one in the top of the 5th. And Bethel responded with a run in the bottom of the 5th. And that's where we stand, 6-2 Bethel. Bethel atop the district standings, half game in front of Denby. Bethel is 7-3 in the district, 8-4 overall. Phoebus at the other end of the spectrum, 2-9 in the district. As we mentioned, without belaboring that point, 4 games lost by the Phantoms in the bottom of the last inning. Turn that around and you're right in the thick of things.
You are that.
Markio King rebounds and puts it in. So there you see number 44, Markio King, the leader of this team, playing with a severely injured ankle. Was not expected to play at all.
Drum gets a hold of it, hits it deep to left and misjudged by the left fielder, Jackson. On his way to third is Bland, he'll score. And the throw to third is off the mark. And they're going to say, yes, they're going to give the base to him. So it'll be, well, I'm not sure how they'll rule that. He never touched the ball, so it was a hit. And then he will, I think he'll give him a double with a two base error, or at least maybe a triple with a 1 base error.
Well, that was my call. It would be a triple with an error on the throw, and that's how he scored. But that was.
I think that's pretty close. It always has amazed me the fact that the left fielder did not touch the ball, even though he made an error in his judgment. But he was not charged with an error until he got through throwing the ball in.
Well, Sam, that was one of the very few times that maybe the sun got in his eye, because the sun is setting over here, going right into his eyes, because he made a move like, okay, I got it, and then he turned and looked, oh, wow, I moved too far.
That's a very distinct possibility.
I'm not trying to make an excuse for him.
I think that's a real good point. I think that's a very valid point.
But the sun has not been a factor at all today, and it is really bright, shining real bright right now as it's getting lower in the sky.
I think you got a real good point there, Bob. I'm looking at the shadows. In fact, the left fielder, Sanzo, is holding his glove up, shading his eyes, as this one is hit to the second baseman, over to first, and the player is out. So Cecil Powell grounds out to second. And Al Gills will step in, the shortstop. Gills batting .311 coming in.
From 3-point range, no good.
Here you see a close-up of the shortstop, Al Gills. Slow curve as Gills kind of smiles as he comes back and says, whoa.
Boy, he was hungry, Tim. He was looking for that, and Painter did a good job of throwing him an off-speed breaking ball, and he was way out in front of it.
This batting average like it is, you don't fool him often.
He may smile, but I tell you what, when he gets set in that batting box, he's looking for the ball. He's going to get it.
1-1.
6 points for Stewart.
Same pitch, breaking ball, 1-2.
23-12, back to the 11-point lead for Bethel. We've got a foul.
One thing about Bruin Park, the fans are right on top of the action here. They literally are 10 feet away from the batter. So if you're having a bad day, you don't want to hear things. This is not the place to play. Long throw from short, and they're going to say that his foot was off the bag. Now, the umpire right on top of the play said that throw was just enough to pull Mickey Joyner off first. And on first is Al Gills. So I would assume that they would charge a throwing error to the shortstop.
And you know, that was one of the better throws from the shortstop.
Yeah.
Waterton's had a couple of throws today. It's gone over the head of the first baseman, but that was more on the line. He had to stretch a little for it, but I think had he been a lot more in line, he would have gotten him out, and they will count that as a throwing error.
Safe at second.
Well, Von Schilling had trouble getting that ball out of his glove that time, Tim. Had he got it out, it would have been a much closer call at second.
Yeah,
but Gels has now got another stolen base, and he came into the game with 20 steals, which leads the league.
Here's Winder, the batter, as the wind has really gotten brisk. Winder's jammed. This one's popped up. And Waterton will squeeze it for the third out. So Waterton makes the grab at shortstop. And the Bruins, however, do register 2 more runs here in the bottom of the 6th. And now they've stretched that lead out to a more comfortable 8-2 score. And exactly what Skip said he wanted to do, he did.
Exactly. He said he wanted to get some runs here and try to put this thing out of reach. So that means that you have to come up with 6 to put it even to let the Bruins bat one more time. So this could very well be our final hurrah for today. This last 3 outs.
So the Bruins now with a 6-run lead. Bundled up crowd here at Bruin Park. As the home team has dominated. Just joined us, I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble and our crew here from Channel 29. There you see some of the Hardy crew.
And you can see they got sweaters
and sisters and brothers.
And they're bundled up well, Tim. Or trying to get bundled up.
The wind is, you can see the wind blowing the leaves there on your screen. It's just I'd have to say it's easily 20, 25 mile an hour wind.
It's got to be, yeah.
So it's played a factor in the game in one sense, in that it has held up some balls that were hit deep to the outfield that we might have well seen round trippers, when in fact they were either caught or ended up, in fact, going over
bouncing up against the fence, yeah, like Todd Kelly's did, yes.
Right, there's been several like that. So it looks like now we've got a new catcher. That is Scott Dees, number 26, who is going to be catching for the Bruins here in the top of the 7th. Dwayne Ray continues to be the pitcher.
And see, that's another rule, Tim. They batted for him, but he still pitches.
Yeah, there's some interesting rules I'd have to...
But we have obviously not done our homework on the difference between high school rules and Legion rules, or
a little more latitude, seems.
Tim just did an excellent job. This is the first game he has played this year. He was ineligible until yesterday.
Jody Sanzo, number 15, batting .450. The right fielder steps in. Bruins having a huddle on the mound before the start of the 7th.
Stewart with 10 points here in the first half. Knocked away and stolen. Take it to the hoop. Good defense.
Sanzo steps in with his team trailing by 6. First pitch is low. Weather today a little more reminiscent of that playoff game we had during the football season. Ball 2 in the dirt. So Dwayne Ray having a bit of a control problem here. The first batter here in the 7th.
We got some changes, Tim. Let me go to them real quick. We're out in right field right now. We got number 30, Rodney Granger, is playing right field for the Bruins. At second is number 19, Johnny Gray. And of course, we talked to Jeff Allen earlier. We didn't, but AG did. Number 36, he's playing third right now. And of course, we talked about the catcher, number 26, Scott Dees. So Roger Bouchard has got all his people in, going to get them all a chance to play today.
Strike call to the tall for a center fielder for the Phantoms. Matt Levister steps in. 0-1. That hits this high to the left field. Again, battling that sun. The ball drops in. It's fair. And now we got two runners on the same base. Levister will hustle back to first. He'll get there safely. And then a bad throw literally into the field behind third base, and a run will score. So Jody Sanzo will score, and Levister will get all the way to third on the errant throw. So, scorekeeper, how do you charge that one?
You read my mind, Tim. I was going to ask you how you score that.
I'd score that a double for Levister, and an error on the throw from Kelly to third.
Yeah, very good.
Ball went out of the field of play, and the runners advanced.
Right, and he gets to two bases because it was an overthrow. Evidently, it was an overthrow not at first because the runner was on second, and he just sent him right on home. But again, out there in that left field, that sun bothered. That's what happened up the inning before when we talked about it. And we got the left fielder out there is Cecil Powell, who's been out there the whole game, but he hasn't been looking into the sun.
So the Bruins are going to have to keep Phoebus now intact. This was going to score a run as Painter, the pitcher, hits to the shortstop, and scoring a run was Levister. So now we've seen the 6-run margin cut to 4. As it's 8-4, Phoebus coming up with a little action here in the top of the 7th. But there is one away now. Stepping to the plate, Tim Williams had a hit the last time up. Williams watches this one hit the dirt. Williams, as I mentioned several times, batting .514 to lead the district. Fouls it away, 1-1.
It'd be nice if you get a hat and a bat and sit on the field and use for closing after
You see Dwayne Ray as he is attempting to pitch a complete game. He has one complete game on the season. He's pitched a total of 9 innings. And coming into this game had not allowed any runs, and now he's given up 4. Not all of them earned, I might add.
That's a good point, Tim. Well, that wind seems to be picking up, or maybe just because when the sun goes down, it feels colder. I'm not sure which of the case is. Last week we were enclosed, which wouldn't have bothered us all last week.
Ray bringing it in inside corner. Call strike. Tim Williams didn't think so.
he give that umpire a real sly look.
Williams hits this one deep to right, fading away, and a good catch out in right field. For a moment there, I wasn't sure the right fielder was going to get to it, and that's one of the new players that were.
Rodney Granger made an excellent catch.
So 2 away now. Chris Black, the last hope for the Phantoms, hits it sharply to short. And the ball is bobbled, and Black will make it to first base. 8-4 our score, top of the 7th. Phoebus has to tie it up at least.
Well, Tim, let me tell you something. That catch that Rodney Granger made out there in right field is a very big catch, because had he not caught that ball, even though the young man at out first is a good sized and not a real fast, he would have been at second and very well could have scored at that play or made it to third anyway. So that was a big play out there on a catch, and we're going to have a runner number 3 for the Phantoms, John Smith is going to pinch run for
Chris Black. Mickey Joyner steps to the plate. 2 outs. Runner on first, trailing by 4. This one's high and away.
That's what I wasn't sure, but I
Fouled away, 1-1. Coming Sunday, Mother's Day, big doubleheader at the Hampton Coliseum. This one's hit over the head into the gap. Got good wood on it. We'll see whether or not John Smith has the speed to get home. He won't. But now the Phantoms with runners on second and third. 2 out, trailing by 4.
And that catch that Rodney Granger made out there in right field is looming bigger and bigger, because there would have been another run in, which would have made it right then. It would have given them, what, 5?
Would have been 8-5, exactly.
And with 2 on, so that would put your tying run at the plate.
And the tying run is not at the plate, but Scott Von Schilling is. And he, again, continues to, each time up here, of course, with 2 outs, your last hope is up at the plate.
Phoebus have lost a lot of games like that, remember?
Yeah. They'd love to win one like that for a change. This one's way high.
Bouchard is going to go out and talk to Dwayne. He's obviously getting a little bit tired, and Skip doesn't want this thing to get out of hand, and he's going to find out whether he's can finish this game or not, because at this point, all you need is 1 out, and you're walking away with a victory. To Dwayne Ray and the catcher Dees to see if he's doing all right. He evidently has got confidence he's going to leave him in there and see if he can get this final out.
Ray comes in with a high, hard one.
Well, Tim, he's not pitching from the stretch, he's pitching from the windup, which is...
it's not unusual when you have a man on second and third. You obviously want to keep your eye, as he is, on the runner, but you're not, down by 4 runs, you're not going to take any real big chances.
That's true, and he got 2 strikes in a row, so whatever Bouchard talked to him about worked.
And he comes in with the 3rd strike, a swinging strike for the final out of the ball game. So the Phantoms make a little noise in the top half of the 7th inning, but they fall short as the Bethel Bruins come away with a 8-4 victory. They up their overall record to 9-4. They go to 8-3 in the district, and Phoebus will go to 2-10, both in district and overall. Well, it was an entertaining ball game, Bob.
It was a very well-played ball game. There was a couple of errors out there, and some of throwing errors, but outside of that, I thought it was a well-played ball game. AG has got Coach Bouchard out there, and he's got a couple other ball players. Number 24, is Ricky Drum, and I can't catch the number of the other young man, but looks like Dwayne Ray, the pitcher.
Bethel Booster Club, Big G is outstanding player of the game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Your thoughts on today's game?
I had rough on my control a little bit, but I had to come back and pitch around trouble, and it just come through.
Got out of a couple jams early in the game, and then it got a little exciting here at the end also.
Yeah, I started losing control, and my mind got off the game, but I had to come back and just throw strikes.
Great game.
Thank you.
Coach, we got Ricky Drum over here, 2 for 3. Ricky, great game at the plate.
Thank you.
All right, what about today's effort and the rest of the season for the Bruins?
Just try to keep our intensity high and play well. Don't make any mental mistakes. We can overcome our physical mistakes, and hopefully we just keep on winning.
Coach, a little bit closer today than last time you met these guys.
Well, it's like I told you, AG. They're gonna stay close and peck away at you, and hopefully the other team will make a mistake, and we made enough of them today. We'll just have to start tomorrow right at the beginning and get some good practices in for the weekend.
Well, Ricky and Skip, good luck the rest of the season and maybe all the way this year.
Well, thanks a lot, AG.
Okay, good job. Tim and Bob, good job.
All right, AG, thank you. And again, the Bruins come away with the victory. The score we flashed on the screen 8-5. I think it was 8-4, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I believe it is 8-4, Tim. They got 2 runs in the bottom of the top of the 7th. So that was the final score was 8-4.
Okay, there you see the fans as they are still huddled up here at chilly Bruin Park. And again, I remind you, this coming Sunday, Mother's Day, we'll be at the Hampton Coliseum. The Boo Williams girls team will take on the Canadian girls team, and then the Boo Williams under-19 AAU team, a excellent team, including, I should mention, the big card draw. Alonzo Mourning,
yes,
will be in attendance and against a strong Russian national team, which has, I'm told, one of the best big men, young big men coming out of Europe in quite some time. 7-foot 1-inch center for the Russian national team. So that should be exciting, and we'll be at the Hampton Coliseum and hope a lot of you can come out there for that. Again, we remind you of the final score. The Bethel Bruins victorious 8-4 over the Phoebus Phantoms. For A.G. Womble and Bob Hintz, thanks for watching, everybody. Good afternoon.
Against the minorities and the underprivileged children of America, some of these young men have not had the exposure to the academic circles or the literacy that they need to develop their vocabularies to do well on those SAT tests. And it's not their fault, and I think possibly the NCAA is closing the door on a faction of our society that needs an opportunity.
Any of your athletes that gaining scholarships be affected by this?
No, fortunately most of our athletes are doing very well academically, so we're hopeful it will not affect any of the problems.